When thinking of how to describe Deep Rock Galactic, I think of a little book series called Red Rising. Never heard of it? Go read it. Seriously, great space opera, and you'll love like the little nudges and winks at its inspiration from Dune all the way to Star Wars. It's great. In the second book of the series, you are introduced to a character named Cabex. He's a larger-than-life figure that doesn't get fleshed out until later on in the series, but you get the gist of him right away. He's fun. He's boisterous. He is definitely passionate. But most of all, you can tell he's just a total badass from his lore. And that is how I would definitely describe Deep Rock Galactic. All of those things mixed into one, with an emphasis heavily placed on the word badass.
I think I finished it.
Well, if you're new to the channel, and I'm assuming you are because all of you are, and this channel is brand new, I actually do drink while I'm recording these. So if I sound slurry, who knows? Maybe I'm going to change this, maybe I'm not going to, but this is off the cuff, so whatever. Right now, I actually did crack open, I will drink anything, I promise. I did crack open a BuzzBalls, and that's what I'm drinking, so hopefully I get through this very quickly. So, okay, I have no idea what they're doing over there at Ghost Ship Games, I really don't. But what I do know is that I actually originally bought this game to play with some buddies, and when I started the download on Steam, I skipped over to my Netflix tab to finish my episode of Seinfeld, and I kid you not, within a minute I heard the sound of a fully finished and downloaded game on Steam. Now, what kind of sorcery is this? I have no clue. And do they have that little nifty compression tech from Silicon Valley? Probably, but I definitely don't know. While I don't have the answer to my own question, I do know that mighty things come in very small packages. So what exactly is Deep Rock? Well, actually that part is really simple to answer. Deep Rock Galactic is an exploration co-op shooter in a procedurally generated and 100% destructible environment. And that's it. Yes, there's more to it in general, but at the same time, and more so than many other games, that's pretty much the chunk of it. There are no big story arcs or deep background knowledge things waiting for you to explore or figure out. It's, the one thing it tells you it is the one thing you will be exploring. That is, the zones, the caves, the caverns of alien planets, with a crew of dwarves who like drinking and dancing, even if the corporation they work for happen to find it distasteful. How Deep Rock manages so much and so little is really a feat of its own because this game is visually dazzling. Its unique take on the low polygon look with exceptional lighting isn't really all that new, but I'd argue to say it's just all that much better. Sometimes I love this look and sometimes I don't, but it just really works here. From throwing a flare in an unlit room and watching the newly formed light bounce off and on alien minerals and flora, to lighting up bugs with your minigun a la Starship fucking Troopers, the illuminated vibrance you receive is a feast for your eyes and is also really a core aspect of the actual gameplay. Whether you're burrowing to shortcut your way to an objective, ziplining to avoid a swarm, or rail skiing on a newly built pipe to traverse a cool self-made roller coaster from point A to point B, every biome in Deep Rock feels new and different. Every procedurally generated area warrants an extra look at an area on your scanner that shows that absolutely nothing you need is over there in that direction, but hey, you're curious anyway. While that sounds really deep, it's definitely not meant to be. It's just meant to emphasize how curious your eyes will make you feel when knowing that tossing a flare in a dark cornered recess of a mountainside will actually always have a justification. It will always be worthwhile. And that is exactly what I want from my games, regardless of the genre.
Cave coral. Oh. The wave is significant.
incoming. Kill or be killed, team.
Bacon and the forces!
Go! Rock and stone! Yeah!
Wondering if fighting bugs and moving dirt is the best way to make a living.
Deep Rock Galactic sound is a conundrum. On one hand, you have the satisfying swing and clank of pickaxe on stone, and how freaking cool is that? It just feels raw and awesome. I would even compare it to the gleeful sound of mining in a game like New World, only it's softer here and varies in a great spectrum depending on the mineral you're mining. Unlike New World, it's just one really satisfying sound over and over and over. You know, the guns in this game are fine for the most part, I would say, and the explosions really have that oomph that make them sound collaterally impactful, which is really, really cool. I love those. On the other hand, you have my first real gripe with the game, and it comes in the form of enemy sound awareness. While I'm playing, especially if I'm solo, I know it's not a solo game per se, but there are times where I'm just not aware of an enemy until I'm being struck by one.
Things. Make every bullet count!
Now, my caveat with this is that during the swarm moments, when it's announced that there will be an ongoing wave after wave of enemies being thrown at you, I'm actually completely okay with this. Mainly because, hey, that was my indicator. That was my warning. I am now on full alert, so I should know to be looking out for ambushes and attacks. It's in the moments that I'm just kind of peacefully mining, and then I get zapped out of nowhere by some spitter type bug from a distance, or some kamikaze bug finds their way to my location and just detonates. Peace, sayonara, I'm out. It's in these moments that I find a small amount of frustration, but truthfully, in the end, that's all it really amounts to. A small amount in an otherwise great sounding adventure. And I will say that this could be intentional. Maybe, you have that co-op experience to have people watch your back. I don't know, but that is my one single gripe. So in my opinion, this is what really lies at the heart of this game, the gameplay. And as such, this will definitely be the longest section of this review. So I booted up this game, and after a quick tutorial, I played a few solo missions. Let me tell you, when I started my first game in Deep Rock, I was immediately greeted with a quick loading screen, much like the one you see in front of you, and then I was just in the game. That's it, no fluff, just bam, here you go mine, you dwarven bastard. Now, the quote company in the game assigned me a droid that they call Bosco, and no, that's not like the delicious chocolate syrup from my 90s childhood with a high fructose corn syrup, but seriously, that shit rocks. Bosco can do it all. He's like the Robin to your Batman. If you're down in a fight, he will revive you. He can mine, he can attack, build, and truly just basically do half of your damn work for you. He's the Tito to your Michael Jackson. It is awesome. Not only that, but he's competent. While using your pinging system, he will continue jobs you've started or attack appropriate targets with precision. Everything is fluid and breezy, even if it does feel a bit clunky at first, just trying to get used to the controls and pinging system. But after a bit of time and a few different keybinds, it feels as natural as a ping system in like Apex Legends. Like, here's a prime example of me popping some loot bugs, which are basically just bugs with a ton of loot inside of them. And while I pick up the loot around the area, I can just ping my drone to start attacking.
Loot bug looted!
And yet again, here's another clip where I just order him to go lay some much needed pipe, and he just continues on until the task is complete. As you can see, this is the mission adjustment screen, and this is really fantastic. So this is an overall map of pretty much everything that ends up changing out about every 30 minutes or so, but you'll see different biomes, different zones with different missions that you can select. My favorite part here is the server list, which is really, really nice in terms of just kind of giving you all the information that you need for specific missions that you might want to do, including the difficulty with hazard, complexity, and even length. It'll even show you what classes are already in the mission and how long they've been going for. They sort by, something close, so your ping isn't so bad, to medium to, I don't know if I've actually ever seen a far, but I believe they do that on purpose. I do live in a major metropolitan area, so that could be the reason why I have so many that are like that. Other people may not be as lucky. But this is one of the biggest and nicest things, especially coming from an indie developer, that I really, really appreciate about this game. So after each mission, you'll be greeted with a screen of your spoils, and you'll be transported back to the base where you can customize your character with various different options, including perk points you earn for doing certain tasks, a handy little wardrobe for quick appearance changes of your character class. And, I kind of happen to be the driller class, so that's what you'll see right here. You can change everything from your hat to your facial hair, color of armor, and even emotes, with many of these being unlocked as you progress your missions through a battle pass-like system, as well as random unlocks for just leveling up your class and overall rank. The same applies from the wardrobe to the equipment interface, which lets you do all of those things plus add perks for your style of gameplay and just kind of make you look like an overall badass, which is obviously the most important thing. So in this little base area, you can do a multitude of things for you to discover that I won't totally spoil for you if you have not played the game. But my suggestion is to just explore everything, and in the base, I promise you won't be disappointed. Go check it out, just explore, you'll love it. Something that's not super spoilery is the drinking, which based off of this YouTube channel's namesake, I feel like I'm just obligated to bring up. It's so quaint because the bar is just right next to the jukebox, and it's like, a small town vibe. You can just jam out and drink some brews. Oh, so cool. I shit you not, I had some straight Pinocchio vibes because I definitely started to feel like a real dwarf. It was magical. Now, you may be asking yourself, my God, what on earth could be better than just drinking and dancing like a dwarf? And, well, that's easy. Drinking and dancing like a dwarf with your pals.
I took marijuana into my system.
Damn, dude. You get one hit. You get one hit every single time on that.
That's what I call
Beer license upgrade. Fuck yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's what it is.
Dude, that one's gross looking. That one is gross.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Like I stated at the beginning of this review, I mainly bought this game to play something fun and relaxing with some friends. Something that you don't have to really be a tryhard at, and something that you won't have to really think much about, but is just tons of fun. Deep Rock Galactic hits these marks on all fronts. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that while the community and the people I've encountered playing solo in lobbies is really great, for me personally, I need the presence of my boys in this game to make it funnier, more outlandish, and overall just a better experience in general. Again, that's just really my take. You could love solo lobbying and meet cool people, and that's for sure a thing in this game. I just found it way more enjoyable with people I actually know. On the developer website of this game, their motto states, quote, "For the big studios, co-op is a bullet point. For us, it is the whole point," end quote. That rings so true as soon as you jump into a game with other people. Everything I just said about gameplay while soloing, take all of it, put it in a gauntlet, add all 6 Infinity Stones, and you have the perfect analogy to co-op in this game. Now, I'm not sure if it's the harder difficulty of the level or the complexity of the cave, which are indeed 2 separate difficulties in this game, but I did find that on harder settings in general, you started to see more monster variety. Maybe that's the number of people on the mission, or maybe that's the difficulty settings, or both, or hell, maybe I'm tripping. But either way, the coordination with friends is vital if you want to get anything accomplished in those, harder levels and difficulties, which, to be fair, I absolutely love. Those are the missions that I had the absolute best times with. The ones with the best memories of something going so wrong where one of my buddies realizes that he's actually not Spider-Man and he falls from an enormous height and I have to go down and revive him because My other teammates, they just got flattened by some alien ancient technology boss that spawned, and we have no idea how to actually deal with him yet. Then, of course, after I naturally and heroically revive everyone, we blast everything in sight and shout rock and stone at one another via emotes and dances and talk about how badass that just was via Discord. It's in those moments that I really appreciate the co-op in this game, because it flows like water, and not a calm river, mind you, but a raging, cohesive torrent, much like a hurricane would. Every class has their need of the other classes, and everyone, when put together, is a harmonious hymn that plays well even if you yourself do not know how to play the new class that you might have just picked up. I promise you, you will find out quickly and be efficient by the time the mission is over. It is in the nature of the game. Before I end on my closing thoughts here, I want to give a shout out to the community in general. It definitely seems like the opposite of a community like League of Legends, where everyone just kind of trolls and shit talks for no reason other than because they want to and they don't care about bans. And maybe that's because games like that are just so competitive in nature, and this game is just so inclusive in nature. I'm not sure, but I do think I'm right about that. All of this is promulgated by the ease of which you can just do things via the game, like joining the so-called union, which is actually just a really clever way of popping open your Discord and having you join their server. You can actually do that in game, which is super cool. But then again, that's just it, right? It is clever, and it is a big part of this game. And it's these little touches that give this game such a good score on Steam, and it's these little touches that will have me recommend this to you as a wonderful game to play with some friends over the Christmas break. Seriously, go pick up the game if you haven't already, and enjoy.